I love teaching. I will help anybody out. We're in this business because, we love it. I could be sitting at a desk job 9 to 5 and I would absolutely hate it. How lucky am I? How lucky is everybody else, man? We get to travel and, I have status on Delta. We stayed in really nice hotels. We were with Alice Cooper. I'm like, and somebody called me a roadie one time, and I'm like, okay. I'm going to baseball games and sitting in the owner's suite with Alice. I'm hanging out with Johnny Depp. I'm doing so many cool things. I work for Alice Cooper. If you, that's what a roadie is. Cool. Try to insult me. It's not an insult.
La 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 la, ladies, the ladies. La, la, la. Now here's the leading ladies by geezers of gear. On tour, maybe she got some stories to share. Now here's the leading ladies by the geezers of gear. Rockstar ladies with some stories to share, because la 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 ladies, the ladies, la la.
Hello, Bujie, and welcome to the Leading Ladies podcast.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Honestly, I was just saying to you just a minute ago that, like, your enthusiasm and your passion to sort of talk about what you do and the emails back and forth, everything I've been reading about you, I've been so looking forward to having this chat. Like, really,
Yay.
there's so many things I want to ask you.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I love your background because you got a nice big heart there. That says everything. So that's the first thing. I love that. I love having a big heart in the background. Maybe I should get rid of all these silly lanyards and put a big heart at the back.
No. At least you're not
Um,
wearing all of them at once. That's
yeah, yeah,
silly.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh,
So where
sorry
are
for all
you
you
now?
people.
Because really, like, yeah, tell our lovely listeners where exactly you are now, and yeah, let's start from there.
I'm right where I am now. I'm in Michigan right now. No, um, where am I right now? Nowhere, actually. I'm still working. I work at a metro park. I've been there for 7.5 years.
Hmm.
They have always worked around my schedule. I'd be off, home for like a month or two when Alice wasn't on the road. I'd work there. And if that wasn't enough, I'd work at my local coffee shop because
I
I
know I
can't
read
sit,
that.
I can't sit still. So I need to just keep going. So they've
But
been
how
really nice to.
understanding? So you're in Michigan at the moment.
Yep, yep. I'm heading out tomorrow to Las Vegas, to Carlsbad, New Mexico to hike the caverns, and then I drive to Phoenix because Alice Cooper does a charity event every year for his foundation called Solid Rock. And
Hmm.
I love it so much. I believe in this. And so I volunteer. I fly myself out there. I rent my own car. They get me a hotel and I volunteer and help them out.
Oh,
It's an
that's amazing. So
amazing.
what's the charity? What's that about? What's his
It, it
foundation?
It's called Solid Rock, and kids from 8 to 18, privileged, underprivileged, can go there. They teach you art, dance, music. They have different rooms if you want to learn like guitar, bass, drums.
Wow.
They have a state-of-the-art recording studio where Alice has recorded a couple of his albums there. They have a stage, they do concerts. Actually, Jordan Sparks came from Solid Rock.
Whoa, no way.
And it's so every year they have this thing called Christmas pudding, and they have it at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, and they have different artists playing. So I usually go and work backstage and help out wherever I can. This year they want me to be a driver and drive all the artists around, pick them up from the airport, drive them to the theater, take them back after sound check, bring them back.
Wow, okay. And how long does this whole event
It's
last
just
for?
a day. It's just a
Oh,
day.
okay.
Yeah, but I love it so much. I volunteer all my time. Hmm.
That's really, really lovely. And when's that?
It's November 15.
November
And
15th. And
yep,
do people like already book up for this, or is it like
yep.
turn
People
up on
buy
the day?
tickets. The Celebrity Theater is really cool because it has a rotating round stage, and
Ah,
each artist will play like maybe a half hour, and then they will auction off. Say like Johnny Depp was there a couple years.
Mhm.
He would play his guitar and then he'd auction it off. Like I think somebody bought it for like 35 grand, and then he'll sign it for them. So they raised, I think they raised over like $1.2 million last year for their foundation.
Wow. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness, that's incredible.
yeah. And they just opened up their third solid rock. So I wish everyone around the country could have one of these solid rock foundations. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, I'm gonna sort of Google it when we get off here and just, yeah,
Yeah.
just check it out. It's the first time I've heard of it, so
Oh, it's a pretty amazing, and I'll do anything for Alice and Cheryl. They're like my second parents. They're
yeah, so
wonderful people.
let's I mean, let's talk about that. So
Okay,
what's the connection and what have you been doing with Alice?
okay. So I started in 2003. I used to own skate shops and indoor skate parks. And
Hmm,
my ex-husband said, "Hey," we did a skate contest in conjunction with a music festival. And I'm like, "Hey, hook me up, with who runs it." And so he did. And so my first year, I sat on a hill. They wouldn't let me move. And I just sat there and I, cleaned garbage, emptied the trash, and that was it. And then at the end of the night, I'd put rubber gloves on and clean dressing rooms. And
okay.
then the next year they called, they said, "We want you to go over to the small stage and help run it." And I'm like, "How do you know I'd be any good?" And they said, "We just do." So I went
Mhm.
over to the little stage the next year and met my mentor, Daryl. And he fine tuned me because I'm just like, all over everywhere. And he just like pulled the leash back on me, okay, and like fine tuned me, you know. So I did that for 7 years while I was married. And Alice had come to three of my venues. So, uh, one time I drove Alice on the golf cart, and then I kind of befriended a couple of the guys. And then the third time they came, their production manager wasn't there because he was very sick. And I said,
Mhm.
"Well, I know what he does. I'll take care of everything backstage for you guys, you know.
That's
You're
so
at my
funny, yeah.
venue, I'm running the venue, and I'm running the backstage for Alice." And um, so that went really well. So in January of 2012, my coworker and I quit our jobs.
Okay.
We were working for the promoter, but we're like, I can't like leave until I have another job. So I used the production manager for Alice as a reference. And that was in
Mhm.
January. And in May, he called me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting ready for work." He said, "Well, I thought you quit." And I'm like, "Well, I did, but I can't leave without another job." He says, "I think I might have something for you." I said, "Okay." So he calls me back the next day. He's like, "You leave in 11 days." And I'm like, "Dad,
What?
am I gonna go work for Alice Cooper?" My coworker wasn't there, nobody was there. I called my parents, nobody was home. I tried to call my sisters, nobody answered. I went outside and I screamed, and I'm like, "I'm gonna leave in 11 days and go work for Alice Cooper," because touring was my dream. So
Oh,
after I volunteered for 7 years, I got divorced, and the promoter hired me on full time. And so I learned the whole business end of it, doing the putting in offers, amending contracts and riders, sending it back, advancing the show, and then running it. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to live my dream. I wanna work my ass off. I want to wake up every day in a different city and love what I do.
that's
And
amazing. And so what was your role with Alice?
production assistant. But my dad
Mhm.
was golfing with Alice one day, and he's told my dad that I'm the glue that held everything together.
I love that you
So
just throw that. My dad was playing golf with Alice Cooper, just as you do.
My dad does not care about famous people. He's like 80 something, but
No,
he golfed with Alice and he had a picture with him and a couple of band members. And man, he blew that sucker up. He took it to his country club and he's like showing everybody. He was so proud of it. But
that's
so that's
awesome.
how I hooked up with Alice. And I was only supposed to be out with him for a month and a half. Well, Alice's manager, Shep, liked me and he kept me on. And I had never toured before, but I had run venues for 7 years, so I knew what they did and what happened. I'm like, okay, bring it on. I always like leap before I look, because I will be fine. I just jump in and do it and don't worry about consequences.
Yeah,
And
and that's actually that could bring us to how we were introduced. Again, it's David Davidian, like the most amazing human that I've never met, but he's just amazing. And
yeah,
so you had, yeah, you was working with him for all these years as well, then.
yep, he was the 3rd tour manager when I was out with
Okay,
Alice.
right,
So
okay,
he's still with him. I love David. I just saw him about a month ago. Mhm. But I
yeah.
had, like go ahead.
No, no, you go.
I had, like, I don't know, I might be exaggerating, like 50 job titles, I had all kinds of lists. I first one in, last one out every day. If I had a 5-minute break, during the day, it would be amazing, and I love doing laundry because everybody paid me to do their laundry, but I could get away from the chaos for a little bit. I took
Oh
my
my God.
I call it my moment of silence when everything was just overwhelming, and I just went into the laundry
Yeah.
room for a couple minutes and just chilled out. Nobody knew where I was.
Uh, you know what? I think that is great. I've never looked at it that way. That for me, I was like, oh, doing it other people's laundry, like no thanks. I don't like doing my own. But yeah, a couple of minutes of sanity and quiet, and what? Yeah, brilliant. And I take it as well because I want to jump to something. Is that you got killed every day or every gig on
Oh, I did.
stage?
Yeah,
I love that. I want to be
that
killed every night.
was so much fun. The first time I officially met Alice when I started working for him, because I had met him a couple times before, he shook my hand. He said 3 things: "You'll get paid, you'll see the world, and you'll get stitches." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then he said, everybody that works for him except David is in the show." And I'm like, "This is gonna be super cool." So, I played the camper when he did, Man Behind the Mask, and, it was so much fun, and, I'd go out with a little backpack and a map and a hat, and I'd pretend like I was a camper looking for Camp Crystal Lake, and he'd point me to the front of the stage. And then Jason would come, and it depended on who played him. One guy would either grab me and flip me over his shoulder, and I'd go off kicking and screaming, and then I came out with a bloody T-shirt and a machete, or another guy, he was a really big guy, so he couldn't lift me, and so he went like this, and he would drag me off, and I said, "Well, make it look real." And he's like, "Okay." So he grabbed me, he squeezed me so hard I could not breathe, and I'm sitting here, like, struggling, and I'm like, I could not breathe, he was choking me to death. So
That's how
that
you've
was
done your throat in.
Lightswitch is a collective of award-winning lighting, media, and visual designers committed to changing how people experience the world. For more than 30 years, we have been practicing pragmatic design. At Lightswitch, we believe it's our responsibility to keep our clients' creative, logistical, and financial objectives in balance. Lightswitch's range of expertise is extensive, from working one-on-one with clients and artists to multidisciplinary teams collaborating on all visual aspects of temporary and permanent projects. Lightswitch creates unforgettable moments and powerful experiences. We celebrate our team, clients, and all of our industry's diverse and talented people. As a part of our commitment to inclusion in all aspects of entertainment and experience design, Lightswitch is proud to sponsor Leading Ladies.
that was a lot of fun, and then, we changed up the skit, and Amber and I would come out and pretend we were tourists, and I'd go up the steps, and Jason would sneak up behind me, and he would take the machete and cut my throat, and I had a little ball of blood and a white shirt on, so when he would slice me, I'd grab the knife and squeeze the ball, and blood would just
Oh, it
seep
sounds
down, and then I'd
amazing.
fall, I'd fall. I got hurt so bad, I had such bad rug burn, I had, like, 6 Band-Aids on, and that didn't help. I've knocked the lights, I've almost knocked myself out. Yeah, it was so much fun, and Alice comes up to me, he's like, "Booj, make it look more real. You and Chris go practice." So, we had to practice having him murder me.
But I just think, I mean, how cool's that? I mean, it's cool anyway, being part of a tour.
Yeah.
And, if you've got that 5 minutes at the end to watch, one song if you can, whatever, because that's why you do it. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Especially if you're not, your production side, sometimes you don't get a chance to go out and see it, whatever. But to be part of the gig, like,
It That was pretty cool. I thought I'd be really nervous, but being on stage with, like, thousands of people, I'm like, "This is really cool," because I knew a lot of people in the front rows, and you don't really notice them, but, yeah, it was
I
pretty
think it's brilliant.
awesome.
And why? I mean, why do you think sort of Alice did that? Was it to bring the crew all together? Like, that you are
He's
like,
just so theatrical and wants everybody in the show somehow.
because I
So,
just think, I said, when Amber told me, I was like, oh my God, that's like a dream. Like, being
yeah,
part of the behind the scenes and then you
yeah,
get to play dead every night. Like,
yeah.
you
And
know?
we had a tour that had the toy box, and Amber and I would be in there in the toy box on stage. I think we were handing him props or something like that. Yeah. But I also did video, so I watched the show every night. And
Ah,
I
brilliant.
would do video when Glenn did his drum solo. I'd hurry up, run backstage, do my skit, come back. And then during school's out, I had to go get the balloon winner. And in between all this, I had to tear down dressing rooms and change outfits. It was very chaotic. So, but it was so much fun. I loved working with Alice.
Yeah, really. I mean, as I said, I've heard only great things. David was on the Geezers of Gear podcast, and he was talking to Marcel, and he was also saying like how great it is working for Alice, and like you two ladies now. Like he just seems just a really, like you said, theatrical with it, but just including the crew,
Yeah.
in this
Mhm.
great, yeah, this great experience. Like I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, and Alice and Cheryl and I would have family movie night. We'd go see
Oh.
any and everything. And the first time I went, I tried to pay. He's like, "You're not paying." He's like, we're on the road. You're my kid. You're not paying." And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh.
okay." And people would, Alice would give him the credit card, and then people would look up, and they look down at the card and look back up at Alice, and they'd look at me, and I'm like, and then we'd come out. There'd be a bunch of people waiting for him. Yeah, it was.
Oh, can you imagine? But what I like about what you said, like, I tried to pay. Like like you said before, it doesn't matter if, if you're rich, famous, whatever. But like the fact that you
Yeah,
tried to pay as well, he probably loved you even more for that.
I don't. I don't know. But that was, I'm like, okay. And then on tour, I had dark hair, and
Uh-huh.
everybody would come up to me and go, "Are you Calico? Are you Calico?" I get it like every single night. And I told Alice, he's like, just tell him you're my kid. And I'm like, okay. And then Alice would throw the first pitch out at baseball field. So we were in Cincinnati, and Cheryl and I went on the field. I didn't know I was going to go on the field. Then I had my dye yuppie scum, tank top on, and my photo of Cheryl and I ended up in Getty Images, saying that it was Alice Cooper's wife Cheryl and his daughter Calico. So Calico calls me. She said, "Okay, you're part of the family now." It's so
That's so funny.
yeah. So I've had some really cool times with Alice and Cheryl. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, it is. It's living, like you said, you knew what you wanted to do, and to live your dream. And I said to you before, a lot of this is down to you, who you are as a person, but it is also about luck as well. And you worked hard, 7 years, working at the festival, cleaning from the beginning. They
Yeah.
can see that you're a worker. So, it's you that got yourself there. But at the same time, the timing was perfect as well.
Yeah, it was. I've wanted to like mow grass since I was like 9 years old. I love working. And when I had my skate shops and skate parks, we worked 24/7. That's all I know is work. My parents are very hard workers. That's all I know. I love working. I love manual labor, and
Me
when I
too.
started in this business, you couldn't get any lower than where I was. And I worked really hard. I love chaos. I like thrive, bring it on. I just thrive in chaos. And you always have to be one step ahead of everybody. And I'm here with my little clipboard and radio running around, yeah,
Well, that's kind of a good, that's you've said before, like that, organization is the key in this
it is.
business.
Yes. Yep.
And I mean, what are your like go-to systems or habits for keeping that chaos under control?
I have a lot of alarms set on my phone.
Mm.
Yeah, I write everything down. I write everything down. I don't like looking at my phone. I have, we had our tour book. Most people use Master Tour, but we have a tour book and I wrote everything down. I have a sheet of everything I
Even that
have to
now.
do.
They're all my
Yeah.
notes for today. What I need to do. Okay, there's my
Yeah.
list. Like every
Because
night,
then
every morning.
I cross it off. I don't want to depend on phones because what if my phone dies? I'm screwed, you know?
It
Um,
doesn't click in my brain.
yeah, if I write it down and I see it, I'll remember. So I remember stuff, but I set alarms also. And it's just, after doing it for so many years, it's just routine.
Mhm.
But I have a lot of alarms. So yeah.
So
So
just throughout the day, as an example, when you're on tour, like run through a day in the life of you.
oh gosh, okay. First one in, I get up in the morning, brush my teeth. I'm the f- uh I go into the venue. I have to look around because I have to put up all the signs
Mhm.
where everybody's going, like catering this way and but when they start rolling in, they're like, Bujie, where's the bathroom? Where's catering? So I put all the signs up and then the cases start to roll in, and then I set up the production office. And while I'm doing that, I'm dealing with the runner, and because I
Mhm.
have to do bus stock as soon as I get up, I made a grocery shopping list that like separates all the pops, the meats, the chips and stuff. So it's very organized. I put one on each bus and the guys will mark down what they want. And then I'll go through. I knew what everybody liked and everybody wanted on all four buses. So as I'm setting up the production office, the runner's coming in and I'm giving them the lists. And then the rest of the dressing room cases roll in, so then I have to set those up, and then I have to worry about ticketing and where are my towels, and then I have to set up Alice's dressing room and deal with everything else, make sure the catering's fine. Um, and then, if I need the runner so they can take the bus drivers uh, back to the hotel,
Mhm.
and then they go out shopping. And then when they get back, I have to go on all the buses and put everything away. Um, and while I'm setting up the dressing rooms, I'm getting ready. I plug the flat irons in. So I'm just doing my hair as I'm setting up all the dressing rooms. And then I go through and I do the band's laundry also. And the bus driver's like, hey, can you wash my sheets? So I do those. Um, then I have to find out where the meet and greet room is, and then I have to make notes, for everybody to put in their envelopes. Um, and so I'm just super busy all day. And then I would do the stage tours, and there'd be like, I don't know, 50 to 100 people. Um, and then, so I do the stage tours and then the band rolls in and they're like, Bougie, 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 I need this. Do my hair, rub my back. Where's this? I had a whole system down for those guys. They got very spoiled. So when they would come in, I'd have all kinds of stuff to do. And then David would do his little day sheet for the day and I'd proofread it for him. Then I'd have to do all the ticketing and stuff the envelopes, send them to the box office. And then I had to get ready for the show. Then I would go out and do video. I had to uh, get after show food for everybody. So I had to take everybody's orders, give them to the runner, and I would do video. Then I'd be in the show, tearing down dressing rooms during the show, come back, do video, go back. After the show, I had to finish tearing down dressing rooms, bring all the after show food to the buses, do the meet and greets. I had a paid VIP, a regular VIP, and a band meet and greet. So I'm doing like all this after the show, everything's coming in all at once. So
Wow, seriously. Well, that is a really intense day. Like I
yeah,
can visualize all of that. I can visualize. And I mean, how do you stay cool and calm? I know you said about organization, but for me, when you come in to a venue and everyone like you need that time just to, because often the plans maybe don't match up with what you want.
right,
Alice's room, actually, no, it shouldn't be that far away. I need it closer. So you're swapping
right.
things around. But then you've got the crew arriving and they're like, Bougie, where's this? Where's that? Where's this?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how do you stay just like, I don't know, just calm?
You have to,
I know, yeah.
I have to say this business is not for the weak.
No,
It's not if you're, needing to do your hair and makeup and stuff like that. This is not a glamorous job.
nope.
But if you things are gonna happen. Just deal with it. It's
Mhm.
not gonna just because, "Oh, we have it this time, this time, this time," things happen, stuff changes, you have to just deal with it, you know? And if you're all frantic, it trickles down to everybody else, and then you'd get all frazzled, and then it ruins your day. You just so I take my moment of silence when things get chaotic, and, I just do it. You know, I don't know, I just do it, and, I just swear under my breath and everybody leave me alone sometimes, but you can't get frazzled, especially like
Yeah.
when I would run my venues. If I'm running it and all my workers see me frazzled, they're gonna get like that. We're gonna have a horrible day. I'm just like really nice and chill. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. If something happens, okay, let's fix it. You just
I
have to
think,
stay.
I've worked with many people and certain, let's say they're not as calm and collective, and it has an effect, especially you wake up in the morning and you're asking questions and, they're like, "Leave me alone, let's," or whatever. You're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay." It's not, for whatever reason, they're stressed as well. But I just came back from a tour and there was one lady, but just like you, everyone's coming to her with all different things, and she's just so calm, so collective,
yeah.
and it makes a difference on everybody else.
Yeah. I love my job. I love what I do. Like I said, I thrive in chaos. I'm like, okay, what do you need? What do you need? Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. Um, I've been, I've worked with people that, they just get so frazzled and they're kind of mean and they think they know what they're doing and they haven't been in the business long. That makes for a really crappy day. You know what? I love what I do. The moment it
Mhm.
turns into a job, I need to get out and I look at a lot of these people and go, you need to find a different career because if you're not happy, you know, get out,
Yeah.
you know?
I think I mean, that's the same with any kind of job. Like in any jobs, I always feel like if you're not waking up and you're happy, it's
Yeah.
time to move on. But sad thing is, it's often scary for people to move on because this is all they know. Whether it's
Right.
the touring world, whether it's in the banking system, whatever job you've found yourself in, it can be very scary to move out from it. Um, but there are a lot of people you look at and you're like, you really shouldn't be doing this anymore.
I
Like,
know.
you clearly are not enjoying it, and the moaniness.
Yeah. It's a lot. And I probably shouldn't say this, and a lot of people might get mad at me, but it's the younger kids who come in thinking they know this business and they have the attitudes. I'm like, dude, there's no reason for attitude. You don't know everything. I mean, I've been doing this for 22 years,
Mhm.
and then you just like kind of kill them with kindness and you come up to them and go, what can I help you with? Let's, okay, and you be like extra nice to them. And then they go, okay, maybe I shouldn't be such a bitch, or
And some people, when they come in, let's say younger or whatever, but they feel like they have to prove something. So
yeah,
sometimes the attitude comes across this way. It comes across as harsh, as mean, as whatever.
yeah,
But it's just that they're trying to establish themselves. But actually, being nice and learning from others is really the best way to go about it.
yeah. And you know what? I love teaching. I will help anybody out. We're in this business because, we love it. I
Yeah.
could be sitting at a desk job 9 to 5 and I would absolutely hate it. How lucky am I? How lucky is everybody else? Man, we get to travel and, I have status on Delta. We stayed in really nice hotels. We were with
Yeah.
Alice Cooper. I'm like, and somebody called me a roadie one time, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got gold status on, Delta. I'm staying in nice hotels. I'm going to baseball games and sitting in the owner's suite with Alice. I'm hanging out with Johnny Depp. I'm doing so many cool things. I work for Alice Cooper. If you, that's what a roadie is. Cool. Try to insult me. It's not an insult. You
That's
know,
not an insult. That's a huge
no,
compliment.
yeah, but I know, but we're in a fun business. We don't have the 9 to 5. We're not sitting behind a desk all day. We get to travel and see the world. Y'all should be grateful for that instead of having like an attitude and being bitchy about stuff. It could be a lot worse. This is
Yeah.
the life we chose. Be happy
Mhm.
doing your job.
I mean, even for me now, that this is more. well, this is like the main job now, and it is here at my little desk. But I do like this year I was away for 2 months on a tour. That was wonderful. I still go away and do, and I missed it. I missed that
Yeah. Yeah.
being on the road, part of the crew again. Um, I know you're going. I think you're going to Las Vegas, but you're going tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm in Vegas, but for LDI this year.
Okay. Oh, yeah. When is that?
Yeah, so yeah, that's on I arrive, I think it's the 3rd of December, I arrive, so
Oh,
we're gonna miss each other, but that's a
yeah.
shame. But just to same as that, like I've been home here now, and don't get me wrong, I live in Crete. I live in Greece, I live in a
Mhm.
beautiful place, I do lots of walking, and I love my life here, but I also do love going on tour still,
Right.
I don't I'm at the time in my life where I don't wanna do it full time.
Hmm.
I've never really been necessarily a full-time person, tour after tour after tour. But after COVID, there wasn't I didn't have any work, and I thought, "No, this is my life here." I got married and I thought this is my lifestyle here. And then I was like, "No, I miss it. I miss
Right.
it."
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
know,
it's always gonna be in me.
yeah. Yeah. When you're on the road and then you're sick of everybody. You've been with them for months and months. You want to go home. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, I miss the road. I want to go back, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just the road life is not for everyone, but it's for me. I'm this like, like carefree little nomad gypsy. I love being on the road. I love living out of a suitcase, and I would get home. I would stay at my parents' house. Because when we were on the
Mm,
Mötley Crüe tour, like, one year I was gone 9 months out of the year, and I had a little house, and my mom's like, "Why are you there? Just put everything in storage and come back and stay with us."
yeah.
I said, "Okay." So I was home for, like, a month, and I still living out of my suitcase, still pretending like I was on the tour bus, and after 2 weeks, my dad's like, "You're gonna put that suitcase away?" And I'm like, "No, I'm used to living out of a suitcase," I still kind of do that stuff, I always have like one suitcase like half packed with stuff, and
Oh,
just
I am the opposite. That even if I arrive in a hotel and we've got 2 nights, we've got 2 nights in a hotel when we're on the road, I can guarantee as soon as we walk in, I've unpacked everything.
yeah.
I'm an unpacker. I have to
Oh.
unpack everything.
I can be at a hotel for 5 minutes. It looks like a tornado went through there.
Oh no,
You
everything
know.
has to be like it has to go all be in different, all little places. I have to have everything ready, and then I've normally got like my work clothes ready for the like in 3 days time. Like I'm like set out. Like I'm like okay,
Yeah.
and then the night before, obviously packing up, then I pack it all back away again. And all my work colleagues are like, "You do that every time we're there." I said, "Every time, every
I'm
time. I want to like unpack."
Well, I'm kind of like organized chaos. I know where everything is, but you give me the room, I'm gonna spread out and use every inch of that. But it's organized chaos. So yeah. So
Yeah, we're slightly different on that one. Organized chaos is still good.
yeah. Yeah.
And I was going to say, you mentioned this one really got me, by the way. So like with strange and funny stories, I'm sure you have loads every day something's happened. But one of the things you put was you mentioned a hole in a private plane. What
Oh,
the hell?
yeah. We were on tour with Mötley Crüe, and so we get to the airport, we have a private plane, they load all the gear on the plane. And then there's a hole in the plane, and Alice is like, "I'm not flying on the plane." So they're trying to fix it, and they're like, "No, we're not getting on the plane if you try to fix it. We need a new plane." So we were in our tour bus on the tarmac for like 7 hours or something. We had pizzas delivered there, and then another plane finally came, unloaded all the gear off the one plane, loaded it onto another one. We got to our destination like an hour before showtime and just the guys grabbed all the instruments and did a show without all of Alice's theatric stuff.
No. So you
Yeah.
actually had a gig to go to.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And that was like
Oh,
the
you did
tightest.
feel very, like, stressed out at the fact that, you was, like, running really late.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like, okay, well, that it got done. Like, I don't even remember where we were, but yeah, like an hour before showtime, we got there. And the show went off great.
Do you know it? That is something that always surprises me when you could be so far behind, even stuck in traffic, whatever, you're a longer, the destination between A and B is longer
Mhm.
and there's traffic and there's this and there's been problems in loadout and there it is. Even if it's 20 minutes before it's ready. Like
Yeah.
it still blows my mind how everybody comes together and there we have it. There's the show. I've never, touch wood, I've never been part of anything um that was delayed or cancelled due to, something that's happened within the crew.
Right.
The only thing once I had a venue had to cancel because the ceiling started falling in. I was like, okay, so we all had to
Oops.
evacuate.
Yeah.
But that's my most dramatic thing. Um, what would be
Stuff
your
happens.
strangest or funniest thing you've ever had to handle backstage? So, or yeah,
I don't know. I don't
so
know.
many.
I I I I don't really know. You know, I
Yeah, well, I
I
mean,
couldn't answer it,
just your
we would you know, there was a lot of injuries on tour, you know? Um, those were all, like, funny because we had our props guy, Pat,
Mhm.
who was hurt all the time, and you don't have time for Band-Aids, so he would have, like, gaff tape all over him. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, you do," and then Alice would do Only Women Bleed, and then he had a metal trash can, and he kicked it, and it whacked Pat in the shins, and he's on stage trying to play, and he just wears gaff tape, putting that on, and, um, just, like, little things like that, like, I think Kyler, Alice's assistant, Alice stabbed him with the sword because he uses a real sword, you know? A lot of, like, little things like that happened, and you're just he's like, "Bujie, I need a Band-Aid. Bujie, I need this," and, yeah.
How did you get your stitches? You said that you got
Oh,
stitches within the first how did you get yours?
I have never had surgery before. So, I started
Okay.
with Alice in June of 2012, and in December of 2012, I got stitches. Uh, we were working on LA, and LA's crazy busy, like 150 guests, all kinds of passes, parking, famous people were coming out, and I kept asking the tour manager, "Can we start working on LA?" Like, the week or 2 before. "Yeah, okay." Didn't work on it, didn't work. "Hey, man, can we start working on this?" "Yeah, yeah, okay." So, like, the day before we were in Reno, and I said, "Can we please start working on the guest list?" And he's like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Crap, it's School's Out's on the last song because I had to go get the balloon winner because 'cause I'd bring them on stage and they would throw those, like, massive balloons out. And I'm like, "Oh," it was halfway through the song, I ran out from backstage where it was really well lit to the theater where it was so dark, and I ran
Oh,
out
no.
there, and there was 2, like, steps that were, like, this wide, and I didn't see them. And I went and I'm like, "Oh, something just happened." I rolled my ankle so hard that my bones, like, uh, ripped the sheath and tore my
No.
tendons. But the worst part was I had to work 10 days on my foot like that because
Oh,
we had our busiest shows. So I worked with that for 10 days. It hurt so bad in LA, up and downstairs. And we were in San Francisco, and I'm laying in bed with ice on it and my leg up. And Tommy, our guitar player, calls. He's like, "Booge, I need you to go to the store for me. It's coming up both ends." And I'm like, "Okay." So I had to get up, go to the store to get stuff for him. And then we had a day off and we were going to do the Redwood Forest. And I couldn't walk. I sat in the car and the guys took pictures for me. And then as soon as I got home, I went to my doctor. I got put in a boot and had surgery. And that was December 26th.
oh my goodness. You wasn't even in a boot for this. You
No,
just kept
no.
on working on no.
Yeah. And so my doctor, I said, "Whatever you do, don't put me in a cast." And I wake up and I'm swearing at him. I'm like, "I'm in a cast." And I was in a cast for 3 months. And then I got cleared. We had a show in Switzerland. Was it Switzerland? Yeah. And it was kind of cool because my ankle was almost healed, but I got the wheelchair in the airport. I got special, security. They gave me extra, leg room on the plane. And then I went out to dinner with Alice and Kyler, and Alice is like, "Let me see your scar." And so I showed him. He's like, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm sorry, my doctor did such a good job." And he's like, "That's nothing, you know." I said, "You told me I'd get
But I think
stitches." And I
that's crazy to still. I thought at least you would have had, a boot or something to keep it, but you
no,
was
I
working on
couldn't.
it without
Like,
anything.
when you're on the road, you get hurt, you don't call in sick.
No,
I've
you
had
don't.
food
No.
poisoning, you know, I had this, people get hurt. We can't call in sick. If you're not feeling good and you're running to the bathroom, that's just what you do. If you go lay down in your bunk for like a half hour, but you don't call in sick. You don't have that privilege.
No, you don't. No.
Yeah. So I probably did more damage, but I had work to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, bravo to you for, just
Yeah.
keeping going. I mean, I could the pain must have been horrific
It was.
and
It was
with
horrible.
10.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
horrible.
But
But
like you said, you don't
we
get a
all
day
do
off,
that,
No, nobody gets a day off.
No, no,
But
everybody's been
I would
sick.
say, I mean, touring like that, I mean, even on a good day, touring can be very, very draining.
Yeah.
We put a lot of hours into it. I mean, how do you keep your energy and how do you keep like your sanity while managing like so many parts to your
Yeah.
day? Like, how do you keep your energies up? Is it food? Is it, like
No.
exercise mentally?
It's no, I try to eat very healthy, but the only once in the entire time I was with Alice did I ever sit down in catering. I'd grab like little
Hmm.
cups of stuff and snack, and I'm running around. And when we were at Motley Crüe, they had a juicer, so I would juice a lot, and if I stopped, I crashed. So I never stopped. I never
Yeah.
stopped even on a day off, people were like sleeping, and I'm like, "Nope, I'm just gonna stay awake because if I crash, I'm gonna crash hard."
Yep.
So it's easy and not easy to eat healthy on the road, but like when you keep going, it's easy to grab a bag of chips and like munch on it and stuff like that. But I just eating on the go and just kept going. And I
I can
don't do
never eat.
coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink pop. I don't eat meat. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. I'm like the little energizer bunny. Can just keep going.
But I think sometimes, I mean, I had one tour a couple of years back, or longer now, 6 years. And well, I had like it was a 2 year period where I wasn't drinking nothing. So 2 years of just, and it was the best I'd ever felt on the tour. It was the best I'd ever felt. I woke up, yeah, I was tired, but my mind was clear. Everything was like
Mhm.
completely clear. And since then, I've always stuck to really like a no drinking when on tour.
Yeah.
Okay, different if you're going out for a meal or something, on your days off, then yeah, okay, I'll have a glass, but always in bed early enough, whatever
Yeah.
you can do before you get up at 5 the next day or whatever. Um, but I can't eat when I'm working. Like,
Yeah.
same as you. I pick at things, but I try not to pick, but I could not sit down and physically eat. It would just
No.
crash me.
Yeah.
It
And
would just crash.
yep. So, and then on my days off, Cheryl and I would go to the gym and work out. And
Okay,
so,
that's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we would do that because she's a professional ballerina. She's an amazing, amazing shape. She's a beautiful woman, you know.
Yeah.
But we would work out together. And during the day, during a work day, I get a ton of exercise and pushing
Yeah.
cases, walking. On the Mötley Crüe tour, I think I averaged 15 miles a day,
Yeah.
So but it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, no,
At
it
the
does.
beginning of the tour, I'd come in there and the guys are like, "Oh, Bujie, you look great. Did you have work done?" I'm like, "No, I just got rest." And by the end of the tour, you look like crap, because you're so overly tired. You're just physically and emotionally and mentally drained, So I tell you, I
Yeah.
see pictures from the beginning and the end of the tour, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what a change."
Actually, I should do that next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, you've worked alongside some, I mean, really big personalities. That's not just artists, that's people within the crew and everyone in between, locals that you meet on the road. Like, what have you learned about working with all kinds of people and again, under pressure? And what have you taken from meeting so many people from around the world?
I've learned that there are a lot of really good people and a lot of really bad people,
Hmm.
and I actually like meeting the, bad people because it makes me not want to be like them, and it makes me that much nicer. I see crappy people treating people like crap, and I'm like, "I don't wanna be like that?" So it's just like, you have no right to treat that person like that? So it makes me be a better person.
Do you know what? I 100% agree with that. Like 100. When I see nasty people, I'm like, I never want to be like that.
Yeah, and
Like
I go
they make me
behind them.
stronger.
Yeah, I go behind these nasty people and apologize to people, like, at the hotels and at the venues. I would tell people, "Come to me, you know, I'll help you out." I walk in, as soon as you walk in and meet somebody, that will set your whole day.
Yep.
Whether you're gonna have a good day or gonna have a bad day. So I walk in with a good attitude, and if I have a nice person, I know we're gonna have a good day. So, um,
And of course, traveling around the world, we don't speak every language possible, but,
yeah,
it comes across obviously great with sign, hand language and all the rest of it, but your
yeah,
eyes, the way you smile, the way you are with people, that for me is certainly key to bringing, especially when you're working with local staff, maybe they don't understand that, you've been doing this for
yeah,
9 months or however long. This could be the first time you've rocked up into their gig, into their venue, into their country. So to guide them in a nicer way is, it sometimes I can believe it takes a lot of time, sometimes to explain, but you need to be that person and not that bad
yeah,
meanie.
yep. So I just try to be nice, and I am so lucky and so blessed having this life. Why would I want to? I'm not jaded. I don't want to be mean. I want to be nice to everybody and love what I
Mhm.
do. I'm like,
And I love that.
yeah, like,
I mean,
I started my picture book, and it's called An Ordinary Girl with an Extraordinary Life.
that's so funny. This is my next thing I want to ask you
Yeah.
about. But right. So I'm going to ask you about, so you've called yourself an ordinary girl with an extraordinary life.
Hmm.
And so is this a book you've written, or is it, you just mentioned a picture book?
It,
What's the book about?
I did mostly pictures, but I wrote, like, I
Hmm.
have one chapter on, like, Johnny Depp, obviously a lot on Alice. I'll have one chapter on, like, Orianthi, who was, Alice's guitar player for 4 years. She was also Michael Jackson's guitar player.
Mm.
I have one chapter on, like, all the fans, and the pictures I have with them, because I've made some amazing, amazing friends. And I still keep in touch with some of them. So, and
Oh,
it
that's
was,
so cool.
yeah, it was funny because before the show, Alice throws knives, and they're like the
Okay.
real knives, and he's really, really good. So I remember getting ready to walk out of his dressing room one day, and he's like, "Booge." I said, "Yeah." He says, "When you write your book, remember to tell everybody Alice Cooper's a ninja." And he throws the knife and turns and walks away from me. And I'm like, "Okay, so that's going to be like the little forward to my book if I ever have it
Oh
done."
my, that's fantastic. And
So
so
he's the
is
one that
this
actually put
something,
that idea into my head.
and everybody's happy with you to basically to write the book? Is Johnny Depp happy with it? Obviously Alice is happy because he's
No, I
just
didn't
said,
ask him. It's funny. No, and it won't be like a whole chapter on Johnny. I don't, like, just like pictures of him, and he's just so sweet and so nice and so humble. Like, the first time I ever met him, I was coming out of a dressing room. I had my arms full of stuff, and I kicked the door open with my butt. And he was coming out the door across the hall, and we ran into each other. And I'm like, Hi.
Hi.
And I'm like, "Holy crap, that's Johnny Depp," you know? I don't and, so I said to his security guy, I said, "Johnny's not leaving this building without me meeting him," and the guy's like, "Okay, let me go ask him." So he goes in and he comes out and he said, Johnny said, "No," and I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. He'll be out in a minute." So Johnny came out and we took a picture and I sent it home to my mom and my sisters. I get home, my mom has that picture in a frame in her beauty shop or in her hobby room, photoshopped with her picture on it. I see my sister, she has that photo on her screensaver with her picture photoshopped on it with Johnny.
No,
So
that's
it's and
so
then
funny.
so when I'd hang my signs up, I came around the stairs and Johnny's at the top and I have a sign that says like everything this way or whatever. He's like, "Can I have that sign?" And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put it in my
Yeah.
man cave." So I gave him the sign. So the next time he played with us, I had new signs, so I put that sign in his dressing room and I gave that to him. And so our guitar player Tommy is really good friends with Johnny. So when Tommy stays at Johnny's house, Tommy will FaceTime me and I see the signs in his house.
Oh, that's so cool. Really,
Yeah.
that's really
And then
that's amazing.
Johnny has given me 3 bracelets. Uh and every time we do, we take a picture of him giving me the bracelet.
That's
And
so
everybody's like, "You
sweet.
should sell them on eBay." And I'm like, "No
No,
way, they are mine."
never.
Yeah, they're
Never,
mine.
never, never, never. That's
Yeah,
something that's truly special that yeah, no way.
yeah. So it's not like, I'm talking about Johnny, it's just like some pictures and like some
Yeah.
of those cute little stories. So,
And
um,
these are all the things that people really like when you gotta let me know when you finished it because I want to see all these photos. Like, because it's your life, but this is part of history of all the years you've been doing it.
yeah, yeah. My back cover of my book is going to be a picture with Alice, Bill Murray, and I.
Oh
That's my
yeah, you met Bill Murray
favorite.
as well. How is that?
I love Bill Murray. He owns, I think like a triple A or double A baseball team, and we were in the
Uh-huh.
suite, and I'm sitting at one end, and he's talking to Alice at another end. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's Bill Murray." I go sit next to him. I go, "Hi, I'm Bujie." He's like, "Oh my God, you're Bujie. I've heard so much about you." And I'm like, "You have?" He's like, "No, I don't know who you are." And I'm like, and so we got our picture with the 3 of us. And then he came back later, grabs me, dips me over, and is like kissing my cheek, and my cheek's all red because he has stubble. And I'm like, "This is awesome." So,
Oh, I'm not jealous at all of that one. Not
and
jealous at
he
all.
he is exactly like you'd think. He came in with the plastic glasses with the fake mustache hanging. He was such a nice guy.
That
So,
is so cool. Really, that
yeah.
is so cool.
So one day I'll
And I
put
mean,
my book out. I don't know, 10 years from now, I don't know.
yeah, but it's in your mind to do it, which is the first step,
Yeah.
and you've got the photos, it's putting it all together now. Um, yeah, no, you're gonna do it. Like, what do you think's stopping you from doing it? Right, not stopping you, but you said maybe 10 years. Like, is it just the lifestyle now? You're still super busy with everything. So is it a matter of time to sit down and do it, or is it?
Well, I have like 35,000 photos I have to go through. Um, so that's part of it. Part of it's laziness, part of it's, I'm just too busy and, maybe I should
Mhm.
actually set aside time, you know. I might add to my book, like some of my other tours that I've had. So,
Yeah, that'd be good as well.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you use AI at all, but using AI to help you, you just upload all your photos and tell it to make you a book, it will do it.
That's a good idea. No, I've not used it.
Seriously. And I'm not, so my husband, the other day, I was telling him about, like books and all the rest of it.
Mhm.
Anyway, he just sat there and I think in a day, he hasn't written this book, but he knew about this idea. He's been working with AI and it's amazing. It is
Wow.
amazing. And
I'll have
and
to
he's
check it
done
out.
it in a day. Like, it really. And I know, mixed feelings about AI, but the tools that are out there to help you, like, are incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. So, you watch this space. My husband could be the new, I don't know, J.K. Rowling. I said, "If you do, my love, that's fantastic." But yeah, but when you like, I mean, you've called the book when it comes out, "An Ordinary Girl with an Extraordinary Life." I mean, what keeps you humble? What keeps you so grounded after everything you've experienced? Is it family life? Is it just you and your heart? Like,
I mean, I have an awesome family, but
mhm,
it could all be gone in an instant. You know,
true.
um, I don't walk around like, oh, guess who I work for, and all this stuff. Um, I just it could be gone it could all be gone in like an instant, and it's happened to me several times. That
Okay.
everything is taken away. So I'm really grateful for everything that I've had and everything that's happened in my life. You
And do you
know,
still travel with Alice and like the like?
no, no. Um, but I see when they come to town, I see
Mhm.
them, and then like I said, I do this
Yep.
charity event every year, and I keep in touch with Cheryl.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I
And
don't.
so, do you
I,
have like? God, sorry.
I don't know if I'd want to do like I had 4 buses, 2 semis, which is a good size, 2 or
Hmm.
25 people. I don't know if I'd wanna do that anymore.
Okay.
I like
And what? How do you have any tours or what's like? I know the end of this year you've got a lot of like travel plans. Doing this event.
uh, y
Like next year, because I hate to say that now. Like, we're coming to the end of the year now.
yeah.
Like.
I have a private show in Naples, Florida, December.
Mhm.
I'm there December 2nd to the 7th. I can't say who the artist
Oh
is.
yeah, you said
Yeah, because the guests don't know who it is, so it's a
that. Okay.
surprise from the boss to his employees.
Mhm.
I work for
Okay,
2
that's awesome.
promoters, yeah, and I do a couple really nice shows with one of them, one of the promoters, and then my other promoter, I do a lot more of the local shows. And then I have something
Mhm.
else in the works, I can't tell you about it yet.
Okay, that's fine.
'Cause
But
it hasn't
knowing you,
happened yet, it's
you've
just
got
in
lots
the
going on.
yeah, yeah. So I take my one big vacation once a year, and I incorporate
Mhm.
Alice's event into it. So, yeah.
Okay. So what I always ask people is, especially after so many years touring, what advice would you give to someone who wants to break into live production? Um, yeah, what advice would you give people?
Don't go in with an attitude, like you know
Mhm.
everything. Um, I just had a really good one. So I make yourself known without being annoying. Okay.
Oh, I love that.
When I was running venues, I got a lot of job offers. Hey, can you be our tour
Mhm.
manager? And I'm running the venue and I'm like, sorry, I can't. I'm running the venue and I have my business. But I always tell the kids, people are gonna remember you as long as you're not
Mhm.
too annoying. And I think that's why they remembered me because I always say, instead of you see somebody carrying a lot of stuff, can I help you with that? Don't say that because I'll go, no, say, let me help you with that.
Mhm.
Instead of can I let me help you with that? If you see somebody struggling to push a case, go over and say, hey, can I help you with this? But don't be
Mhm.
in their face. Don't be so annoying that just go away, kid.
Yep.
So make yourself memorable without being annoying.
I really like that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that as a top tip for me.
Yeah. Because that's what they remember. They remembered me. Hey, she was a hard worker. She was good. Just like I'm always like you always have to be like one step ahead of everybody, see everything that's going on, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so, but
Yeah. And looking back, what's been your proudest moment in this crazy industry?
my proudest moment.
Mm.
Well, first of all, being able to have my parents come to a show and see what I actually did. That made me
Oh,
really
that's cool.
happy, like, my dad's like, "You're gonna live out of a gosh darn suitcase?" And I'm like, "Yeah, isn't it awesome?" And, my mom knew Alice, you know, um, as the rock and roller, where my dad knew Alice as the golfer. So they had no idea what to expect backstage, and, they came to when, Marilyn Manson was with us, that's when my father golfed with Alice, and my parents came back, and they're like, "We had no idea this is what you did," you know?
Mhm.
And they're like, they had no idea how backstage went, and how hard everybody worked, so it made me so proud to, like, have my parents and my sisters come back and see what I did, and then they had a
And
whole different
that
perspective.
yeah, I mean, well, okay, anybody that I've mentioned to, "What do you do?" Really, you can't describe it. You can't, you're backstage or, this, that, and the other, and they're like, "Oh, but you're going to here, 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 here." I was like, "Yeah, I probably won't see it. I'll see the tour bus, the venue,
Yeah.
and leave. Like, I won't see Paris or I won't see Texas. Like, I don't get to see these places, but I don't understand. What do you do?" So having that opportunity to bring your family in, and they're like, "Oh." But
Yeah.
I always find that sometimes when you do bring people backstage, they still only see, like, the good side of it. They still don't see, like, everything, do they?
No, no, no. Although they did when we were with Marilyn Manson, he scared the crap out of my family.
Oh, really? Why? What did he do?
Just his presence, as my niece would hide behind, like, her mom, or my proud and my favorite moments of the entire tour was we were playing in Rio,
Mhm.
and Alice and Johnny Depp had done this several years before, where they fitted people who had never heard before with hearing aids.
Oh,
And
yes.
I said, "Can I be part of it?" And they said, "Yes." So I went down to the main lobby where everybody was, and all these people that have never heard in their entire lives. And I got to put hearing aids in people, and then my voice was the very first voice they've ever heard in their lives. I did a little boy, I did like a middle-aged person, then an older person. And you put the hearing aid in, and then you go and you go bop bop bop, and then they smile, and it brings you to tears, because you're like, they have never heard in their entire lives, and now you've given them this gift. And I remember Alice doing that with a little boy, and his mom was there, and she just started crying when he smiled and could hear. It was like the most satisfying thing ever. It
Oh,
was
that is
it was
beautiful.
it was awesome. Yeah, so I gave people the gift of hearing. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
certainly, I think that's a very, very, very proud moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my all-time favorite moment of tour.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
And finally, if you could sum up your career in one sentence or a couple, whatever, like, what would it be?
Lucky.
Oh, I love that
Just
as well.
just lucky. You know, I
And
just look
you.
I just look back and I'm like, I sure am lucky, look at everything I did. I've traveled the world 3 times with Alice Cooper. I've done stuff that a million people will never get to do in a lifetime. Who'd ever thought that I would ever be where I am today, it just I just look back and I just have so many amazing memories. I'm just so lucky. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful way to finish the podcast. And
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for coming on. As I said,
Thank
I've
you
been so
so much
looking
for
forward to
having
meeting
me.
you.
Aw.
Yeah, really. I've been so looking forward to meeting you, and I think I've covered everything. Have I covered everything? I think we have. Sorry, I'm
I
just
don't know,
looking.
there's so much more,
My,
but that's okay.
I know my cat's at the window. I just was like, I saw this shadow.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I love doing stuff like this. I love talking to people, about my career and all the fun things I've done, and I once said, I talk about it, I feel like I'm bragging, and they're like, "No, you're not. That's your life," and I'm like, "You're right."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really, that's that this is your life, and I'm sure, I mean, I could have gone on for hours just in details about everything. So spending this hour with me, I know the listeners are going to love it, and I can't thank you enough. So,
Oh, thank you
Bujie,
so much,
thank you for sharing
Sarah.
all your experiences.
Aw,
Thank you.
thanks.
Bye.
Okay, see ya.
La 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 la, ladies, the ladies. La, la, la. Now here's the leading ladies by geezers of gear. On tour, maybe she got some stories to share. Now here's the leading ladies by the geezers of gear. Rockstar ladies with some stories to share, because la 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 ladies, the ladies, la 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 ladies. Yeah, she's a Now here's the leading ladies by geezers of gear. Rockstar ladies with some stories to share. Now here's the leading ladies by the geezers